Hi, Jyotsna. Welcome to this episode on generational diversity. And Jyotsna has written a lot about generational issues, and I also write and research and talk on the same subject. And I have some questions I've really been looking forward to ask Jyotsna.
Thank,
Jyotsna, yes, please.
thank you so much, Nija, for having me on this. It's an important topic.
I have your book by my bedside, and I'm constantly referring to it and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, no, I have it
So,
here. I have it here.
yes,
It's a book.
stoned, shamed, and depressed.
Get
I
your
think
copy.
it's, yes, Jyotsna, sorry.
No, I'm just saying, get your copy. It's available on Amazon, but like I tell everybody, go to the small bookstores and encourage those people as well. It's been hard times for people selling books, people writing books, people publishing books. So, yeah.
Yes, Jyotsna. And I think it's spreading by word of mouth. As people read, they are talking about it, and that's how it's like a ripple effect. I haven't seen you marketing it very aggressively. I'm not too sure about that, but I've spoken to a lot of people. I attended a session that was hosted in Amritsar by the Maja Society, and they interviewed you. So I think it's a very relevant and a very crucial kind of a subject that a lot of people identify, resonate with. My light is creating. Okay, so for my first question, Jyotsna, now today in the lives of our children, there are so many what I call unconstitutional influences, and nobody really is speaking up for the constitutional authorities that are at least up to a point adulthood are actually the parents. Has that been your experience?
Oh yeah, just last night I was having a conversation with my sister, and somebody was telling her that in the hierarchy of things for children today, it's their friends first, it's the and then it is social media, and then it is teachers, then it is somebody else in school, and then it is grandparents, and then parents somewhere at the end of it, if at all. So it's a really um, it's a difficult scenario to be in, because you can't really force your way into their lives. They don't really appreciate that. So it has to be done in a very subtle way. You have to be around them and yet not be invasive because they don't enjoy that. It's an interesting thing. I listened to this podcast by this woman. She's a parenting coach, and she had some great tips to give. She said, don't keep forcing your way into, we have this as adults, as parents, we have this thing of, we go to our child and say, so how was your day, what did
Mm,
you do today,
mm.
forcing our way in, and the child said, no, nothing, it's all good, and
Ah,
right. So,
mm,
and she had really good solution for it, which I've started to listen to actually. She says that, you sit there, you be
mm,
around, you
mm.
don't have to go and say, what is your problem? How was your day? They
Yeah.
won't answer. You sit there, you hang with them. You're in the same room, you're in the same vicinity. Don't keep asking them. If something is bothering them, they'll come up to you because you're there. And
Mm,
they will tell you. And I've noticed that with my girls. I've noticed that I'm hanging around. I'm doing my thing, they're doing their thing. I'm reading, they're watching TV, or I'm sitting and working or whatever. But something bothering them, they'll turn around and say, they'll tell me. And
mm.
that's really different to what used to happen earlier when I would say, come on, tell me what's happening. All is cool, everything's well, you know.
But there have been so many mixed messages for parents, and there was this message that you must, be your child's friend. So you're constantly asking them, "How are you feeling? How are you feeling?" Talk about your feelings. And the earlier generations didn't talk so much about emotions, but children these days, they have things to share. So I think there've also been a lot of mixed messages. But what you're saying is exactly what our parents used to do. It is my parents didn't come out and ask me outright, how are you doing? What's happening? Did you get an A? Did you get a B? They were there. And if we felt the need, we would go and talk to them. So, would you say that the parental authority actually, there's been a loss of parental authority in homes?
See, like you say, we can't be their friends. and
Hmm.
and that's the biggest mistake a lot of parents are doing by pretending or by saying that we are our child's best friend. No, you're not. You cannot be. You are your child's parent. Draw
Hmm.
that line. I mean, it's great that children share everything. I mean, my children share everything, hopefully, but I'm their parent. I'm not their friend at the end of the day. And we are different. We are different from our parents in a sense that our children are more open to us and are more open about sharing things that happen with them than we were with our parents. But still, we still have to draw the boundaries. We cannot let them think everything is, we're a friend and we can share and we can, the kind of parents who say that we're going to have a hookah party for a child in class 6. Why would
Oh.
you do that? Because
Oh.
otherwise they'll have it outside. No, they shouldn't be
Hmm.
having it anywhere.
This is the same logic, Jyotsna, where the parents encourage them to start having alcohol at home and give them a beer so they don't
Yes,
drink outside, right?
same thing.
Hmm.
It's absolutely the same thing. We may as well just give it to them, otherwise they'll have it outside. No, why?
Hmm. Hmm.
Where is your authority? Where is
Exactly.
where is the fact that you're a parent? Put your foot
Hmm.
down. I find that these days parents don't want to upset their children. I find that a lot.
They're
You know,
scared. They're
they're
scared. Why are they scared? What are they scared?
the point is that it's a generation also that's very aggressive. But where's that aggression coming from, Rija? It's coming from the fact that uh, you've made them like this. You've made
Hmm.
them very. Uh, you've made them into an entitled bunch of people who have been gifted a gadget and that smartphone. That smartphone is the genesis of all problems. I keep saying it over and over again.
Hmm.
Earlier, you give that smartphone to a child, you will not be in a position when you try and take and reduce that authority later when they're 14, 15, you're not going to make any sense to them. You've given it
Hmm.
too early. They are going to resist every attempt by you to take it back from them or to restrain it. They're not going to allow it to happen at all. And that, I think, is where the problem stems from. Giving us our children a gadget, giving them an iPad at the age of 6, 7, allowing them televisions in their rooms at the age of 7, 8, allowing them to be on Instagram at the age of 8. Why?
Hmm.
Because it's easy for us? Yes, sure, it is easy for us.
Hmm.
I mean, wouldn't I like to do it? I would love to do it. I would love to say, here's your time, here's your gadget, go play, and I'm going to get like 2 hours of uninterrupted reading time or, chai time. Very easy.
Hmm.
But that's not the way to do it.
I think this pressure, parents feel this internal pressure to be popular with their children, and you don't want them to, get estranged or turn on you and blame you. And later on, as they grow up, because they do find the vocabulary to hurt you,
Yeah.
really, really hurt you, right? They're young adults or teenagers, senior teenagers, blaming they have these these words that the mom is a narcissist or father is unavailable, and maybe a sibling is a golden child,
Yeah.
and that they, then the family was not. There was toxicity in the family. These are such familiar words. They're ringing around us all the time. Is that why the parents are
We are a
fearful?
dysfunctional family.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that's the big one.
Dysfunction. Mm,
Dysfunctional family, but why are you a dysfunctional family? I mean, who's not speaking to who? No one's speaking
mm.
to anybody, really.
It's,
It's very scary. Why is nobody? The other thing with parents is that you don't want to get your child upset because, you say, oh, बहुत peer pressure है बच्चों पे. We don't want them to get upset. We want them
mm,
to confine to what there is. It's very easy to confine and to let your child confine. The stronger parents are those who put their foot down and say, no, it's okay. We will find you will find a tribe that does not have to be on Instagram at the age of 10 or is not playing Fortnite at the age of 9. You will find a
mm.
tribe, and there is a tribe. They find their way. But why must you allow them to be on something that is not legal? What is the hurry? And that's been my big question. I am practicing what I'm preaching, Anija.
Mm,
My child is going to turn
mm.
13. She is not on Instagram or any other social media, my elder one. So, I mean, yeah.
I have something to say to that, Jyotsna. I really admire that, appreciate that. It's possible to do this. It's a little doable when the child is in your radius. Now, let's say a child leaves home and goes, let's say, to the United States, for instance, or any professional school in India, and for 4 or 5 years, they are away from you. You're seeing them once a year, maybe twice a year. And there's this entire environment. You hope that their hardwiring is such that they will make wise choices. But then there are influences on them that you don't have any control over. And it's happened with people that you go back. It's happened with me. I've gone back to my child's school for the graduation. And I wondered, this is a stranger. I don't know this person. Even though the child has been coming home once, twice a year. That happens. It can happen. So,
You know,
I
they
mean,
find
what do
their
you.
place.
Hmm,
I think they
hmm,
find their place eventually. I mean, those turbulent times anyway. No need to. I mean,
hmm,
I went to a boarding school, and I'm sure I would have been like this as well. Coming home to
hmm,
my parents, I would have been a stranger at some point, and there were no gadgets at that time.
right.
Your wiring, as you said, is different when you go to like a boarding school, and you get so involved uh, at that age with your friends and your colleagues, and
Hmm,
I mean, your life is that school.
yeah.
I mean, if you enjoy it, a lot of people don't enjoy it, but I did, and it
Hmm.
was. And to come back to that home, and you're like this person who's doing their own thing, reading their own thing, sitting in that corner, and not really hanging with your parents. But even if you have children at this age at home, I mean, they're not sitting and hanging with you.
But Jyotsna, your time and today, the stakes, the harm, the potential for harm today is this child has social media. They can go to social media and say certain things that perhaps in the past for the earlier generations it was possible to say only to a friend or maybe within the four walls of your home, right?
Yeah.
Today it is it can get out of control. Certainly it can get out of hand, and I'm seeing it happening. It's a very very chaotic situation, and I think people are really thrashing around.
They are.
So how do you, that harm reduction, how do it's a very delicate balancing act. And sometimes there's nothing you can do. You're just standing by and watching helplessly.
Yeah. But I think you'll be even more helpless if you don't know what the stakes are. And if,
Hmm.
if you deny what the stakes are, and you say that these things don't happen, then where are you going to be? Even the people who know what's going on, even the people who are aware of these things
Yes.
are struggling. Now, if you're going to say that drugs don't happen in school, and I meet many, many parents who say that there is no vaping in school, and vaping is the biggest thing that was happening in schools before COVID started, biggest thing.
Hmm.
And if you
Hmm.
turn around and say these things don't happen, then how you're going to deal with what solution will you find when you're not acknowledging the problem?
True.
That is, I think, the crux of the matter for us Indians, isn't it? I mean, we are going to continue to deny that these issues don't happen. We're going to deny that our children are not influenced by the Western world, but our
Hmm.
children are watching Netflix, they're streaming the same shows. Everything is at the same time, it's simultaneous, it's immediate. If you're going to say these things don't happen, if you're going to say that children don't discuss sex in school, uh, or they don't need to hear about more than birds and bees by the time they're 10, then you're really wrong. I mean, if you're going to sit and say, I'm going to tell this child of mine at the age of 13, that child is going to tell you many things. That's true.
It's true. Not just listen or talk about, actually do it. It's actually active in schools, in campuses, in
Yes,
places.
yes, very young and very
Very
active.
young.
Very young. I mean, and very blasé about it.
Yes.
No, it's not something that is a big deal in their lives. So where do you want them to be? Do you want them to make mistakes? If they do make a mistake, do you want to be around them, help them, or do you want to flag them or flog them for it?
Hmm.
And make them more of a rebel? It is up to
True.
us. And for
Hmm.
that, we have to dive in to understand social media to begin with. We have to
Yes.
understand what the norms of the lives in social media are. We cannot just say, here, take and be, and let them be. No.
Hmm.
We cannot just turn around and say, here, go make a film, go be a YouTuber, do what you want. No.
Hmm.
YouTube, nasty, nasty, nasty. Very nasty. I mean, you
You
come,
know.
my child is on YouTube and is addicted. I mean, I have so many friends laugh around it. I'm like, it's not funny. Take that
Hmm.
word addicted seriously because they genuinely may be.
Yes.
But parents is so, I mean, they find humor in it. We find humor in everything. Uh,
Hmm.
Not funny.
It's not
And
funny.
I'm
It
not
can.
I'm, I'm not trying to run down any parent, and I'm just saying be on the ball.
Mm,
Because if you don't understand what you're up against, how are you going to help your child? The amount of children who've written into me after my book came out, the amount of children who've continued to write to me through COVID because they've been stuck inside and not having conversations with their parents, has been
mm,
huge. It's been huge. My DM is
mm,
open on Instagram, and the amount of feedback I got for the book saying thank you for writing this, ma'am, because we don't know how to bring it up with our parents. Our parents
mm,
don't understand that these things happen. That how do we deal with it? But we have no one to
mm.
speak with.
Yes. You're right there that it starts with acknowledgement and then maybe either help or just be able to at least watch them hurt. That's very difficult, but that happens. One thing you just mentioned just now about the Indian part of it, is it an Indian thing or is it across the world, across the globe, everywhere in all cultures? Or what we call West conveniently is gone round a full circle. I don't, yes. So, do you have a view on that? Is it an Indian?
I find that in one sense we're always behind the West. Okay, I mean, in the sense you'll say, oh,
Mm,
the influence is behind, but right now I find like a lot of Western societies, like take Ireland for instance, uh,
mm,
very on the ball. I
mm,
see so many conversations and parents saying, we don't want to give our child a phone. Why should
mm.
we? Can we just, let's, yeah, parents who speak up and say, we've just given them a phone, but it's not a smartphone. We've just given them an old Nokia. Would an
Yes.
Indian parent do that?
Mm,
No, it's not cool even for the parent to give their child a Nokia phone.
mm,
And I say this to so many parents. What do you want to give your child phone? You want to keep abreast of where they are? A phone
mm.
is good enough. Why do you want to give them a smartphone where they're coming back from their class or whatever and sitting on it and then they're playing a game or they're YouTubing or, why? You need it.
Mm,
It's just a phone call. Give them a regular old phone. Any old phone will do. And this is what is happening in places like Ireland. So many conversations where I feel like you said, they've taken a circle, but they're going back to the roots.
mm,
And as I
mm.
mentioned in the book, I mean, why all these the tech people in Silicon Valley who are selling you the
Exactly.
things, they're not giving their children any of this.
Mm,
I mean, I had this gentleman who, when I was writing the book, who worked in California, and he was sitting with me while I was writing the book, and we started talking. I mean, our children were in gymnastics class, and he said, "There's nothing in my house. I've got." And he showed me his own phone. He said, "It's a 60 quid phone I've got. But why would I give anything to my children? Because I'm in it, and I know what this does to our children."
mm.
Like I said, I mean, they sold us the world, but they protected their own children,
Unethical.
and we have to learn to do it too.
Mm.
We have to protect our own children, but are we protecting them? No.
I know. And that brings me to this tragic way we are looking at, or we are parenting. In fact, it's almost a foregone conclusion that the growing adult or the young teen will be anxiety ridden, will be consuming substances, will be distraught. It's almost as though you're expecting it. And
Yeah.
I want to share some. Yes, Josna?
No, no, carry on.
I want to share something I read in Dr. John Duffy's book, Parenting the New Teen in the Age of Anxiety, where he says that a parent's role today is to be that of a parking slot where the overheated car can come and cool off. That there's a Grand Prix literally going on, and there are, this highway of multiple identities that these young people are struggling with, racing against, and they get overstimulated, and then that leads to stresses and in some cases mental health issues, and the parents' role is to just provide the parking space.
I read somebody yesterday saying that our homes are like internet cafes. It's pretty much the
Yeah,
same thing.
exactly.
But then this is the role you choose for yourself, isn't it?
Hmm.
I mean, it's up to you to choose what you want to do. I mean, at some level, yeah, they're going to shut that door and sit in that room for ages. But are they willing to come out of that? And when they come out of that, are you there for them? Are you there to have
Hmm.
a conversation with them? Are you there to hang as a family? Are
Hmm.
you having conversations? Are you getting rid of gadgets on your dining table? Are you setting the example for them by not constantly uploading everything in your life first?
Hmm.
Are you going around the house and saying, oh my God, I've become fat, I can't get into my skinny jeans?
Hmm.
You have to look inwards, no? Have we made it easy for them to be like this? We have to make it tough for them. But have we? No. By making them aware of the fact that there are the Greta Thunbergs or the Malalas around as well. That's up to
Yeah.
you. That's where reading comes in. Very
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
That's where you have to expose them to every kind of culture.
Hmm.
You have to expose them to every kind of writing. It doesn't just have to be, our kind of writing. It doesn't. We have to go beyond the world. It's got such beautiful stuff that's been written. And I read a lot of, I go beyond. I love to go beyond. I love to go beyond even watching. I watch Turkish, I watch Spanish, I watch Italian, I watch Korean, I watch all kinds. Watch and learn. The exposure is can also be harnessed in a good way.
Good way. That is something I want to come in and say, that the portrayal of parents in the culture today is so they're portrayed as caricatures, and this respect, that lack of respect, and nobody's really offering any alternative narrative, or nobody's questioning it. Not many people, at least. Isn't that a problem too?
It is. It
Hmm.
is. That lack of respect is it's scary. And I
Yeah.
say about this generation, I mean, I said this earlier as well, on that talk. Uh, it's an aggressive generation, but it's a sensitive generation. There's so much they're upset. They're just
Hmm.
upset about everything, which means, who knows what they're upset about? Who knows where their angst is coming? But that angst is so quick to come and, it's always bubbling on the surface.
Always
Always.
psychic
And they're
pain.
aggressive too. Their aggression too. There is no respect. And they listen to that kind of talk and they speak that talk, they walk
Hmm.
the talk, that hip hop, which I've written about. What
True.
kind of an influence does it? You have to be old enough. I mean, I enjoy hip hop music. I love hip hop music, but I'm old enough to understand.
Hmm.
And and that's what I've done with my children. They listen to it as well, but then they come up and they switch it off or they fast forward it. And I'm like, why do you do that? I'm not paying
Hmm.
attention. Why do you do it? Because mama, it's got the bad word.
Yeah,
This is
it's
a
got the
9 year
bad.
old. And I feel, and somebody will say, oh gosh, why are you telling 9 year olds this? But this is what you need to do.
True.
You need to tell them what is right. You need to tell them what is wrong. You need to start very young if you want to have them in your fold. Otherwise, you're going to be those parents who
You
want
lose it.
the respect, like you just said,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know?
One final question, Jyotsna. We're every generation wishes to leave one behind that is well, more potent, more productive, let's say. And do you think your generation is going to be one such generation? Do you see that happening with your generation, that you leave one behind that is better off than you?
Oh gosh, that's a tricky question. That is a very tricky question. We could, and that's up to
Hmm.
us. And
Hmm.
that is really up to us and how we uh, let our children evolve. I mean, that the digital world is here to stay.
Yes, absolutely.
That's here to stay. I mean, it helps. It helps people. It helps children who have ADHD, or it helps people, who have attention problems, who are struggling. It helps all kinds of people, children.
Hmm.
Why can we not help our children harness it the right way? We can leave them. I always say this. I said, if I had to influence somebody or I had to talk about something in our times, I would have a class of 30 children sitting there. They have
Hmm.
a world of 30,000, 30 lakhs instantly to
Hmm.
reach. The reach is enormous, but it is
Hmm.
up to us. Do we want them to be this side of it, or do we want them to, become just one anonymous person struggling in cyber world? It is up to us.
Hmm.
Do we want to help them talk about things like bullying openly, talk about activism, talk about drug awareness? There are the good things as well, and so in the world, and it can be done through social media. It can absolutely be done. You can help the world, or do we just let them play, just be
Hmm.
a play field? It's a battleground. Do what you want.
Sometimes what happens, Jyotsna, is that even though you want to help very desperately, there is an impenetrable wall around the young person, particularly when they need help the most. And people who really can help them, who have their interest at heart, the first line of defense literally has no access to them. And
True.
that's the kind of world, because children these days can leave home and they have families outside, they have their special friends, they have their boyfriends or girlfriends, people I call unconstitutional authorities and influences in their lives. And that is
What
hmm,
really matters to them, Nija, is money.
hmm,
They need money in their pockets, always need money in their pockets.
okay. Hmm.
And where are you getting that money from? You're getting it from your homes.
Hmm,
That's a way to stop it. I
right.
mean, for anything, they want to go to the mall, they want to go to the movies, they need the money. They
Yeah,
want to hang with their friends, they still need the money. And
true.
they still need their gadget. Like I said, you have to, it's very hard.
It
It,
is
it is
hard,
very
very
hard.
hard.
It is very
Hmm,
hard. This generation makes it very hard for us. I'm not going to say that things are easy. No, they're
hmm,
not. I mean, Google is the only balancing, thank God for Google, that we have some help, but no, it's very, very tough for us.
hmm.
But don't make it easy for them either. Don't
Yes,
give them
right.
things so early that you
Hmm,
regret them later. Don't give them access to things so early.
hmm,
Don't don't give them social media so early. Why would you give them social media at 10, 11?
hmm,
I mean, my child is turning 13 and I'm still arguing about not giving it.
hmm.
I may have to give it, or I may have to give it on my phone. But
Right.
I'll see what the best way is. But if I can struggle and I can fight it, it's not easy. It is not
Hmm.
easy, but parenting was never easy either.
That's true.
So I'm just saying, if I can do it, all of you can do it too. At least, at least keep. The fact is, when your child is a little bit older, there's a little bit of maturity that comes in, or whether they pretend they don't understand us, it does penetrate.
Hmm, hmm.
कभी तो बाहर निकलेंगे from that room.
कभी तो निकलेंगे. True, true. Thank you.
To each their own. It's not my parenting tips are very personal. The book is not of parenting. The book is really just to tell you what's going on out there, and and to help you make your decisions going forward. It's like a manual. You choose what you want to do with it.
Are you following it up with another book?
No, not this.
No,
Not on this.
not
No,
of this.
I've said what I had to say.
Hmm, hmm.
You know.
Right. Thank you, Jyotsna, very much. And any last thoughts, any last words before we?
I'd say hang in there, and I'll just end with this example of a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, who has three
Hmm,
sons,
hmm,
and she gave her eldest son a phone at the age of 16. It's unheard of, and
hmm,
he's in a British school, and the kind of pressure. And initially, there was immense pressure, and he would come and really get upset and everything. And she was like, "I'm not going to give it to you.
hmm,
Figure out your life." And then COVID
hmm,
also happened. She still didn't give it to him. And then he figured out, he picked up the guitar and he started learning the guitar and playing the guitar. And at some point at 15, I told her, I said, "You're pushing it, give him the phone. I'm saying it." And
hmm.
now he doesn't want it. All he does is play the guitar. And she says, I have to spend hours listening to that same thing again and again, but
Again
fine,
and
I'll
again.
do it in. I would trade that any day. And she's given it to him at 16 after his GCSE exams. Uh, but Nija, he was a topper. And he's
Hmm,
not, but it's not like he's one of those children that we Desi parents do that you got to sit and give your 90. No. Her mother,
hmm.
his mother's, I mean, he's been wanting to be a doctor for a while, and the mother's saying, please don't be one because it finishes your youth. But it's
Yes.
like, he sat and he aced. He's the school topper.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
he aced it like you can't ace it anymore. He's got the phone, but he's still playing the guitar. The phone lies because there are other things to do. And it is up to us to show them that world. Things are
Yeah.
opening up. Take them out
Hmm.
for others changing, take them out for bike rides, take them out for a run. I strongly, strongly believe in sports. I strongly believe it.
Yes.
I do. They get tired at the end of the day. Instead of 4 hours, they'll spend two on it.
Hmm.
You take what you get.
True.
It's a hard
Thank
fight.
you.
And I say best of luck.
Thank you very much, Jyotsna. And it is just one thing I want to share with you also, and for people who are watching this, that I do believe that today the village, you need a village to raise a child is even more critical. So you do need the extended family, some relatives, some cousins the children are fond of, maybe their coaches, their teachers, because I think essentially it boils down to just creating a safe circle inside which the child can thrash, and there will be some thrashing.
There will.
Yes, yes. On that note, thank you very much. Bye
Thank
bye,
you.
Jyotsna, and all the very best. Thank you for writing this book. It helped me. Thank
Thank
you.